Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the garage, and welcome to a little review of our Ford Super Duty. So it has been all but 20,000 miles and almost exactly 1 year that we've had our Super Duty. We are, like, tomorrow going to work, I'm going to cross over to 20,000 miles. So far the truck's been great, haven't had any issues with it. We did have one recall. I think it was one of the fuel rails, something to do with that. Dropped it off at Ford. I think we did an oil change while we were there, just because I got a couple, you know, with the dealership or when I bought it. So free oil change. But other than the oil changes, I guess we've done 2 oil changes so far. And the little recall, we haven't had any issues with the truck. So am I still happy with it? 100%. The Ford has been great. I know when I got this thing, we had a lot of skeptics because I am a Dodge / Cummins guy, and really it comes down to I'm a Dodge guy. I've always had Mopar stuff, and that's just kind of my roots, but I really just branched out on this and wanted to see what the other offerings were, and really felt that the new 10-speed in this truck was phenomenal, and also just the truck total package I think is better than the Ram. My personal opinion, and I kind of stick by it so far for this year. It's been great. And I don't have that 6-speed ASIN or the 6-speed 68 RFE. I got that new 10-speed, and it's been phenomenal. So I've been loving it. We've towed quite a bit with it. We've towed out to Indiana for UCC, just hauling a race truck to different events such as Rudy's. And with my open car trailer, it was great. With our new 48-foot race trailer, which is pretty heavy. I think we were probably rolling around about 30,000 pounds all loaded down, and the Ford didn't struggle one bit. I was impressed. It is a 1-ton. I did get a 1-ton in anticipation of getting something kind of like this eventually. Did not really think it was going to happen this soon. And I drive it daily, and for being a 1-ton, it drives great. But you got to expect with the 1-ton, it's going to be a little rougher ride than the 2500, but even that, you know, it's a heavy duty truck. They're not going to ride the greatest all the time, but I just couldn't commit to that dually long bed lifestyle, and the short bed has been great. One thing, towing our race trailer, it was a bit sketchy when we first got it coming home, and that's why we got this 16-inch offset hitch, and is making crushing the cab not an issue anymore. I mean, you could if you're not careful, but you could do that with a dually or a long bed as well. So but this 16 inches basically changes this to being just like a long bed truck. And there are some things we could do inside the back here with the factory hitch setup. You can go with so it's the factory gooseneck / 5th wheel prep package, so you can actually get a 5th wheel plate for it with a ball that moves the ball 3 inches further back to get an additional 3 inches of clearance if we wanted to do that. But so far hasn't been an issue, and like I said, it was great hauling this behemoth of a trailer around. One thing that a lot of people complain about is the exhaust brake, and the exhaust brake, I will be fully honest and say it does not hit as hard or really pack the punch that the Cummins did, which a lot of you guys with Cummins trucks end up second-gen swapping them anyway, so then you'd have to put like the fleece kit on there, or like Pack Brake I think makes one, or whatever. But the factory exhaust brake on the Cummins does hit harder. But the one thing with the Ford, when you have it in tow haul mode, with the exhaust brake on, it definitely takes it all kind of in consideration. So when you tap the brakes, it'll downshift. Sometimes it'll skip downshift, like where it'll go from 8 to 6 or 10 to 8 or whatever. And even towing down to Rocky Top, the only time we've really towed the race trailer, anything other than, you know, with it fully loaded down, the hills of Tennessee, it didn't mind at all. The hills of Virginia, a little bit of the Appalachias you get into out in Pennsylvania, you know, that whole, well, I guess it's all the Appalachia, but that was fine. Now we're not out west. My buddies out west, they're telling at a much higher elevation it might be a little different out there. I honestly don't know. I have nothing really to compare it to. So towing wise, the truck has been great. I think even with this trailer loaded down, we were getting about 10 miles to gallon, which I don't think is too bad for being loaded down like that. And we were clipping right along. I mean, we were staying with traffic, we were passing people, you know, slow pokes on the highway, but we weren't doing anything absurd. One downfall of this thing is the 34-gallon fuel tank. On the Lariat package, which this is a Lariat Sport package, and I went with this over like a Platinum or something, mainly because I could get the Sport package with the black wheels, the black mirrors, the black emblems, the black grille, paint match bumpers, and all that. There is no option for a bigger fuel tank, at least for the 20s. So S&B makes a 60-gallon tank that will be perfect for when we're towing the race trailer. Because honestly, with the race trailer, now we have to go to a truck stop. So just depending where we're at, you got to be a little selective of where, you know where you're at and where the next fuel stop is. 60-gallon tank will take care of that for us. Now, normal driving back and forth to work, I'm like back roads the whole way and stuff like that. So my fuel economy is trash, and I drive probably a little more aggressive than I should on those roads. But when we when we took the engine out to Freedom, just out to Indiana and back, pretty flat terrain for the most part, through Ohio and all that, we were seeing like 20 miles to the gallon. On the computer, I didn't do any hand calculations of it because we were just kind of trying to get there and then, you know, get home. But in my experience, when I hand calculate it, it's usually about 1 mile to the gallon difference between the computer screen and what I see. So we're probably getting around 19 miles a gallon going out to Indiana, which I think is pretty fair. And going out to UCC with the race truck on the back and the extra 2,000 pounds for the sled pull, we got around 12. So towing wise, which is why I got this thing, why I got it one ton, this thing has been phenomenal. So no complaints there. These Super Duties do sag quite a bit. I can't say I can complain about it because the ride's not too bad for being a 1 ton, like I said, as is. But even with the open car hauler, the truck has a tendency to sag quite a bit, even with just the race trailer on it. And then with this on there, it sags a whole heck of a lot. So some airbags are probably in order. When I ordered this truck, at least on this trim package in 20, you couldn't get airbags from the factory, which is kind of a downfall of the Super Duty, which I don't know, 21, maybe you can get that. A couple things you might not know about the Fords. They have, which I'm all loaded down to go to the hunting club, they have a flat floor in here, which makes loading things in here phenomenal. You don't have that hump for the transmission and all. It's not something that you really consider, or I didn't consider when I bought the truck, but it's a great feature that I love. Another feature that I love is our amp power steps. Because we got this Sport like blackout package from Ford, we couldn't get these from the factory, but Susquehanna Ford, my local dealer, I expressed my concern. I want these things, and they said, well, we can just throw the amps on and do it that way, which is what we did. My only complaint about the amp power steps, and the reason I stepped on it to leave it out right there, is after 1 year and 20,000 miles, the powder coat or paint or whatever is starting to come off of where I step on the step. Yeah, it's kind of just a wear item, but you would think it would last more than a year of, you know, average driving, if you would. So there's that little issue. Other than that, I love them, and with my stone driveway, I definitely feel they will help protect from rock chips and all that kind of stuff. So that's a couple of the little things you might not know about these Super Duties and all that. The headlights are phenomenal in this thing. I love them. The only complaint with that is other drivers think you're high beaming them all the time. Then you throw the high beams on, or I'm sure they're like, what? You got to be kidding me. But the auto sensing high beams are an awesome feature I love. The lane keep assist, all it does is really, it's not even really an assist. It's a lane keep like warning. So when it's on, all it does is vibrate the steering wheel. That works well, but you definitely get used to it rather quickly. So I've had it off for a while, and then if we're going to be doing some long trips towing, I'll turn it on, and that way I'm not used to that. So when we have the trailer, if I start drifting off or whatever, then it'll shake the steering wheel and I'll know. So trying to think of other things about the truck. Another complaint that I've had with the truck often, and it's more of probably an Android Auto issue. It's just the Android Auto interface isn't the greatest, but I don't think that's a Ford issue. I think that's just an Android thing. I know a lot of you are iPhone people. But yeah, other than that, it's been great. The key stays in my pocket all the time. So when I walk up to it after work, I just walk up, I put my hand here, and then it's unlocked, and then I can throw my bag and all in the back seat. I love that feature. Also, another feature you might not know about is what's called Ford Pass. So, I get my phone out. So with the Ford, it comes with Ford Pass, so I can actually start the truck from my phone. I can lock and unlock it. If there's any error messages, it'll tell me. And it is pretty cool. We got the sport package and all that, and it looks exactly like it does in person, which is just pretty neat. But I love Ford Pass. When I get up to go to work in the morning, there it goes. So when I get up to go to work in the morning, I just pull my phone out and I start the truck. If you are a creature of habit and you get up every day and you leave the house at say 6:15 every day, you can have the truck start at like 6 o'clock every morning, so it's warmed up for you or whatnot. I just like it because you don't have to use the remote start from in the house and hope it goes off or whatever. But once again, key in my pocket, just put my hand back here, and the truck's unlocked. So I love that feature for sure. Another thing, and it's not something I had ever really thought of before, but the tailgate with the push button. I love the soft open. We have an F-150 at work, and I just grab the handle and drop it because I completely forget about it. But I do love the bed lighting in the back of the truck. If you're loading the truck up, like when we're going to a race or something like that, it just makes loading things up phenomenal. I do love it. But speaking on the tailgate, I've heard of people having issues with the push button and all that. I haven't, but there's no auto up, and this is a bear of a tailgate. It is heavy. So I have no plans to switch up and go to a dually or anything like that. Like I said, I do daily drive the truck, so having the short bed is just nice. I don't want to commit to that long bed or dually lifestyle just yet. But airbags, bigger fuel tank are the two things right now, and that's more of just because of what we're doing with the trucks, or with the truck. It being a 1-ton, I feel airbags should be a factory option, because it just, with the amount they sag, if you are doing a lot of hauling with the truck, which is why most people get these, I think you should have that option, airbags. It just would make more sense. But other than that, like I said, zero issues with the truck. I've been loving it. It still, to me, looks great. These new Fords, they just, I don't know, they hit different. I love how they look. Like, even the front valance. When I first got this thing, it's like, we're throwing the 2-wheel drive valance on it. I don't even notice that big thing anymore. And the only reason I thought about it is because I'm just standing here looking at it. But I don't even notice that anymore. So every other generation of these trucks, I always kind of like cringed at the front ends and all that, but I like these new 2020s. I guess it's what, 2017 and up, but I just love the look of the truck. They're phenomenal. And like this truck with the sport package and all that, just the overall look of it, I don't want to change it. Maybe some more aggressive tires when these Michelins wear out, but other than that, I like how it looks. It just all kind of flows together. You guys have seen my 2nd gen Veronica, the blue 2nd gen I have. Looks pretty similar to this, other than it's still got the alloy wheels from the off-road package. So that reminds me of a couple of other things I don't like about the truck. Open differential. I don't like it. It's not something you notice until it rears its ugly head. So it's got an open rear. Yes, it is lockable. You can pull it and lock it, but I would prefer to have a limited slip. You take off and, a little bit aggressively when it's wet out, or you're in some gravel and go to take off, or it's a little wet in the yard, you're spinning that one tire. I don't like it. I would have preferred to have a limited slip. I don't know if that's something Ford has changed, but I would certainly hope so, because I just don't like that open rear. And I would take a limited slip, a true limited slip, over the full locking rear differential. I think it's kind of silly. It's not like it's a power wagon or something like that. Give me a limited slip. That's what I'm asking for. The other thing is, in winter, and I don't know if it's because of the tires or what, I don't plow the driveway. And in the snow, which I honestly did not drive the truck very much in the snow on roads. I have the second gen for that. But like when it would spin in the driveway, it'd turn traction control and all that stuff off. It would just want to buck when it would spin. Like if it started spinning, the truck would buck and shake and hop. And I don't know if it's just the layout of the Fords or what. But that was something else that I didn't really care for. And that might be an issue that just somebody with a stone driveway who doesn't plow it like me will see, but it's something I noticed. So those are the things that I like and dislike about the truck. Overall, I've been loving it. It's been a great purchase. It's done exactly what we've needed to do towing wise. And it has 355 gears in it. So when we got this trailer, I was definitely worried about how it was going to do. It was a concern of mine. And like I was even starting to look into how do I re-gear this thing, and it's starting to rain. But with the 355s and that 10 speed and having it in tow all, it knew exactly where it needed to be. It never struggled with the trailer, and I was just floored by how it performed with this thing. Like I said, it's very intuitive, almost like the truck can sense the weight behind it. Like the downshifts with this trailer seem more aggressive than with the open car hauler. So maybe that's just like the placebo effect with me, but it definitely felt as though the truck could almost tell it was under more of a load and reacting differently because of that. So that's my overall take on the Ford Super Duty, the 2020 with 20,000 miles now on it. Yeah, she's been great towing. Unfortunately, the race truck is down and apart, and we are probably going to miss Shides. Hopefully we can get to the hardway race and all that, which that's another thing. Having the race trailer is fantastic for that stuff. When we went out to Tennessee for Rocky Top, you know, we drove through the night to about 5 in the morning. It's getting tired. Fired the generator and the AC up in a truck stop. Slept for a couple hours, had like a good couple hours sleep rather than sleeping in the front seat of the truck, and shut everything down and back on our way. So it was definitely nice to have that luxury on the road with the race trailer. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or comments about the Ford, let me know down in the comments. But that's my take on it. It's a good truck. It's doing exactly what I need it to do, and it's even above and beyond. There are some features I wish it had. One of them is, I forget, adaptive cruise control. That's one thing that I do find with the trailer and all that. Having it to where I got to manually do it just kind of stinks when you get into those traffic situations. But that's like a modern, it's a modern thing that I didn't add to the truck. I don't know if it was an option even. And if it was, next time I would definitely get it. And speaking of cruise control, another thing that impresses me with the truck, any other vehicle I've ever been in, if you slow down for whatever reason and then just hit resume on the cruise control, it was like the truck was trying to get back up to that speed as quickly as it possibly could. Like pedal to the metal and go. The Ford, when you hit resume, just kind of slowly works its way back up to where you were. Kind of like how you would normally drive the truck, which I really appreciated that, because I've never used cruise control before where it didn't just, all right, pedal to the metal and let's get to that marker, you know, to that speed, and then we're done. So rambling on and on, because I keep thinking of stuff with the truck. DEF, everybody complains about DEF. My biggest complaint with DEF is the stupid plastic containers, and by that I mean, if you're on the road and you're stopping at truck stops, DEF isn't an issue, because you slide your credit card in, ask you if you want fuel, ask you if you want DEF, and there's 2 pump handles right there. It's our, gas stations need to get with the times, and if they have a diesel pump, put a DEF pump with it, and that would get rid of a lot of people's complaints. The stupid plastic jugs suck, but once you start using truck stops, it's not really that big a deal. So that's kind of my review of the truck. It is bone stock, other than the amp power steps. We got a little bit of tint just to match the front to the back window, and our tonneau cover. No tuning, no intake, nothing. It's just fine how it is, and I've been loving it and enjoying it thoroughly. So, all right, that's enough rambling from me. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, if you have any other questions about the Super Duty, put them down in the comments. I'll answer them as best I can. I do know that this has a CP4 in it. I have a warranty, so I'm not really that worried about it. But every tank of diesel, I do make sure I run a Hot Shots EDT just to keep that CP4 pump happy, rather than try and destroy our fuel system. Really, I need to get a S&S Diesel Motorsport, the fuel system saver that they have for one of these trucks. They should really get one of those. That way we're not destroying injectors and our injection system from a failure. But the Hot Shot Secret is helping out in that department, so we run that in every tank of fuel. And that might have helped with our 20 mile to gallon out to Indiana too. I don't know. So and by comparison, once again rambling on, my 2012 Cummins, even deleted and tuned and all that kind of stuff, we would leave here, it had about, I think it had around the same, about a 34 gallon tank. I would leave my driveway here. It was about the first fuel stop after Columbus, so a little more than halfway to our trip to like Brownsburg, to like UCC or Fleece, and I needed fuel. This truck, when we were running on the highway at about the same speeds, little over the speed limit, I got in the truck and it said I didn't need fuel until like I got home, which I thought was pretty incredible. So I'm going to stop rambling because here comes the rain. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like the video, subscribe down below. Catch you guys on the next one. Get out in your garage, get the wrenching on your truck.